You know, I always found the idea of Armor King really funny because it's just King wearing armor, but then the name of the character is just Armor King. And it's not an alternate skin for King or anything, it's a completely different dude. It's kind of like if we had, I don't know, swimsuit Asuka in the game, but it's not Asuka in a bikini, it's like a black chick who does electrics, completely unrelated. It's really funny, it might be genius, but I want to talk about Armor King in this video because I've had a lot of questions about him. Specifically, what I think about the character in terms of how strong he is, where he and Marduk fit in the sort of Tekken 7 tier list, which we can definitely talk about. We can't do a new list every time there's a new character, but I can definitely give you my thoughts on the characters. I've been playing both of them a lot during the last couple of days, and we now finally have some frame data to go with as well. I want to talk about Armor King today, but if you find this interesting enough, then maybe we'll do Marduk tomorrow, so maybe let me know. But before I tell you exactly how good I think Armor King is, I should build up my argument a little bit, because this is the kind of thing where people have pretty strong and divided opinions, let's say. And I think maybe I'll start my discussion with this move that you've seen me play around a little bit with here in the beginning. This is Armor King's Dark Upper, which is his sort of version of call it a bootleg Electric Wind God Fist. But don't let the bootleg part of that phrasing fool you. This is an amazing, amazing whiff punisher. One of the best in the game and something that almost every character in the game would kill to have in their arsenal. It's absolutely fantastic. And so that means that Armor King is very good at whiff punishing. It's a signature thing that he's sort of thinking about doing a lot of the time. So if you're playing the spacing game and you're doing your backdashing, he's very good at that, by the way. You can say that his backdash really travels. You have this in the back of your mind and you're trying to stick this a lot of the time, and when you do, it's really powerful in terms of its damage, but it also has range. You can delay it to come out way late in the dash like that, or you can get it out very fast. The speed is going to depend on your execution, of course. If you are a Mishima player, unlike me, and you're good at sort of Mishima style execution, then you can get it out very fast. And if you are, then you can even use it for fast block punishment, and then it becomes ridiculously powerful, but that's difficult to do. But even if you don't, it's just a very, very good whiff punisher that you can use in your spacing game, and it's powerful enough that you should always consider it when you're moving around. But if this is all you were doing for whiff punishment, you might not be completely well-rounded, because it's high, it can get ducked, it can get predicted. And so your other option for really good whiff punishment that you can use here that works extremely well as a companion piece to the Dark Upper, in my opinion, is the 4-2-1. And this is a very similar move to King. He has a lot of similarities, obviously, to regular King, but this has amazing range from like way out here or even further. If Lars is just thinking about farting at the wrong time, I can catch him with a huge mid from way downtown. It's 32 damage, which is big enough that it's very dangerous, but it's also going to cause the knockdown, the wall splat, and so you can, you know, knock somebody into the wall, do a little backdash, look, and if they're trying to do something funky like get up kicks, re-wall splat them, and then just party at the wall all over again. It's extremely good, and so this move, coupled with the Dark Upper, mean that your whiff punishing game is just extremely well-rounded, intuitive, and easy to use. And so it means that Armor King really excels at movement and whiff punishment. His backdash is really good, his movement is way above average, and he gets really good damage. I mean, in some of his combos, the combo damage is just way above average. You know, 70 plus damage off of a Dark Upper easy. Way above average damage on just a standard hop kick, which he has, by the way. We haven't got into that yet, but defensive play, he's very good. If we're talking about defensive play, we can have a look at the punishment on blocks specifically. So you have a pretty standard 1-2, similar to King. You can tack on that little extra mid right there, but that's actually very good, because the reason you have that there is you want to catch people who are trying to duck your throw when you're using a 1-2 to set them up. So that's pretty cool. You have stuff like the 2-1, which is sort of average to slightly above average, but then everything above that you get some seriously good stuff. Back 1-2 is very powerful. It's also a decent mid-range whiff punisher, very fast for a fast whiff punisher. Extremely good, and good for punishment as well. You have a very strong shoulder, above average speed and damage, works wonders for punishment and at the wall, and you get a 15 frame hop kick, which is, you know, just a lovely standard tool to have in the arsenal of any character. So in defensive play, Armor King is extremely good, just way above average with all of his tools. He's good at basically everything when it comes to that, and so very, very good for the character. But if we move up a little bit closer to Lars here and start having a look at your close-up oriented tools and your neutral stuff, the first notation that I'm always going to look at, as you know, is the down forward 1. And when I press down forward 1 and the character does something like this, a little gut punch that looks like it might be, you know, 13 frames to impact, have some decent plus frames on hit, I get so excited because it's like my favorite thing. It's one of the best tools you can have for any character. And Armor King's version of the down forward 1 mid poke is absolutely fantastic. Like, it's mind-blowingly good. Because like a multi-purpose tool for this, you can use it for absolutely everything. And like, for example, it's good for opening up offense, collecting plus frames, getting your attacks going. It's good for defense to interrupt the opponent, catching them when they're doing crush moves or floating them out of the air. It's an amazing tool for when you have to float and convert in combos. You can open the round with it, and it's one of the best round enders in the game as well, because, you know, a fast 13 frame mid poke without significant disadvantage on block, extremely good for the beginning of the round, the end of the round, and everything in between. It's just absolutely amazing. Your jabs, we talked about those, they're decent. You have some pretty fast counter tools similar to what you would see on King. You can even get decent combos off of your Magic 4, even though it has some awkward aspects to the combo you have to do, you know, and it's always the case with Magic Force, almost, unless you're playing like Miguel or Katarina, I guess. But yeah, you can get that launch there, and there are probably different things you can do to get really good damage off of that as well. So what I'm trying to get to here is that you're definitely no slouch in the close-up game. I actually think you're above average up here as well. You have very decent poking tools, a lot of really good mids. You have a new very decent power crush. You have some decent counter hit tools. So not only can you, it's not like you're a defensive whiff punishing character who can keep up in the close-up game. You actually excel and do better than most others in both situations, and you can mix and match and float freely in between whatever style suits you, or even, you know, switch in between both as you should in any normal round. But he's just good at both ranges and at both styles of Tekken, right? So he's not like one of those like Asuka who really wants to create a lot of space and focus on the defensive play almost exclusively, right? The next thing I want to talk a little bit about is grappling. Now, you are one of the most grappling-oriented characters in the game alongside regular King, but if you wanted to only lift 2 throws from King to have in your arsenal, if I was to say, if on your main, if you can lift 2 throws from King, what throws do you want? And you'd probably go with the Shining Wizard, which you do have, and the Giant Swing, which you also have. Now I have to try and remember how to do a Giant Swing. I obviously don't play King, so I don't remember. Is it Overkill or Neckbreaker like Master Raven? Or is it one of... No, it's one of those, yeah. It's forward, half circle forward. So it's one of those. So yeah, you have your Giant Swing, which is obviously fantastic. You have your Shining Black, which is your version of the Shining Wizard, which is amazing as well. But you also have a lot of really diverse throws, and he's really good at that as well. And I think you're sort of starting to see what I'm getting at with this whole discussion. No matter what aspect you look at when it comes to Armor King, he is excelling. He's good at basically everything, and it's difficult to find anything to complain about with this character. Another aspect we should talk about a little bit is combos. Good combo damage is great for any character to have, but it's not necessarily something that's going to make you high tier. For example, Lars, standing across from us right here, has some super serious combo damage, some of the best in the game, but he's famously a weak character. That is because Lars has sort of poor neutral tools overall and struggles to get his opponent in the air so that he can combo. That's not a problem that Armor King has. Armor King is good at launching the opponent, and so he gets to capitalize on his fantastic combo damage. So if I just do something standard off of a hop kick right here, you can see that he quite easily collects way above 60, so way above average damage, and he can convert any of his normal combos to the wall quite easily with the use of the forward 2-1. Extremely intuitive and easy to do. He has other options, and his wall combo options, which I can't show you on this stage, are very decent as well. So You're good at launching, you're good at comboing, you're going to deal above average damage in most situations. You have some of the best grappling in the game, some of the best whiff punishment in the game, and you're definitely not handicapped when it comes to the close-up game either. If you had to find something to nitpick about in Armor King's overall design, maybe you'd say that his lows aren't fantastic, but I honestly think they are above average as well, if we're going to be completely honest. The down 3 is a very good little low check that you can poke with. You have kind of a version of Lars's down back 4, or Elise's down 4, in the shape of this down back 3 low sweep, which is dangerous to use when it gets reacted to, but is going to... you're going to get away with it a lot of the time, and when you do, it's another situation where you're collecting a really high damage combo on counter hit. So very, very good there as well. The down 3+4 seems to be very good in terms of high crush properties and range, and you have a bog standard down 4, which is a really great tool for any character to have. You know, some characters like Elisa don't have this generic down 4 tool, and I always really miss it when I don't have access to it. You know, above average range on your down jab as well. So I think if you're going to complain about something when it comes to Armor King, maybe it would be his lows, but I honestly don't really see that being a huge deal either. They're just good as well. So yeah, I'm going to sort of get to my conclusion here, and I think you can guess what I'm about to say. I think Armor King is a seriously high tier character in this game, and the only question in my mind is whether or not he's going to end up being considered, you know, in that top pantheon with the extremely, extremely good characters like Xiao Yu and Devil Jin. He might well be a character who is able to keep up with those characters, and if he's not, he's going to be in the tier right below that, so the very high tier characters who aren't necessarily, you know, top, but very, very strong. And I think he's going to enjoy a lot of popularity, a lot of competitive viability, and I think you should be expecting to see high level Armor King play in serious tournaments as soon as Evo Japan next year, if not before that. So a character who I think is not only going to enjoy this little boom that he's seeing right now with a lot of people using him, but he's going to retain popularity going forward, and he's going to be a seriously, seriously high tier and very powerful character going forward. What a fantastic character. The only reason, because, you know, the things I always look for in a character that I love, you know, I love a good hop kick. Almost all my favorite characters have a good 15 frame hop kick, and I love a good down forward one, 13 frames. If I can get that, and I have some decent counter hit tools, then that's exactly my kind of character, and I'm kind of good to go. So it's typically the kind of character that I would really gravitate towards, but I'm not you know, a Mishima style crouch dasher, and you can tell by the speed of my dark upper that it's not that kind of archetype that I play. But if it wasn't for that, if, you know, if he just had this for like a down forward one, I would, or sorry, a down forward 2 or something like that, I would probably be looking at picking up this character as well. Probably not going to be something I'm adding to my arsenal, but I definitely see the appeal of Armor King. And if you're learning him right now, and if you're thinking of maybe maining this character going forward, do so confidently that you are learning a fantastic character with some seriously powerful stuff, a fun and interesting visual design. And if I'm going to complain about anything with Armor King, it would be that he's maybe a little bit too well-rounded. I've talked about this before. It's a little bit of a weird opinion maybe, but I kind of feel like in Tekken, a good character design is a character design that contains both serious strengths and serious flaws, because then you have something that the character has to specialize in, and the player has to sort of try to play into the strengths of the character while working around the weaknesses of the character, and that sort of creates this great cradle for serious strategy. But with Armor King, I honestly think you're pretty much fantastic at everything, so maybe he's a little bit too well-rounded even, but he's just extremely good, fun, he looks cool, and it's a joy to have him. I hope you guys are enjoying seeing him in the game as much as I am. I'm just gonna have to try and figure out some more solid strategies to beat him, because I'm running into him a lot online lately, as I'm sure you are as well. That's gonna wrap up this little video on Armor King, and if you watch this, please remember a lot of the sort of concepts that I brought up here, because they're gonna come into play and be kind of interesting to continue on when we talk about Marduk in the next video. So if you want to see the Marduk video, let me know. I'll probably make it anyway because I have a lot to say about the character. But for now, thank you so much for watching this video. Hope you're enjoying Season 2. I certainly am. And I'll talk to you guys again very soon. Bye bye for now.